everyone. So today I filmed a makeup tutorial for you guys on this look that you see right here. I used a lot more orangey, warm tones on the eyes, and then for the cheeks and for the lips, I used more cool tone berry shades. I really like how all of the colors came together. I think it's a beautiful look for fall. And just a little disclaimer, I did use the Morphe Jaclyn Hill Favorites palette, and even though you can't get the actual palette itself, you can still get the individual eyeshadows for $2 a piece. So if you want to go ahead and go online, all of these shadows are still available, even though they're not available together in this palette. If you just go onto their website, you can see the palette and it has all of the different shadows listed. So you can just search the shadows that you're interested in purchasing for $2 a pan and then purchase those separately. So just wanted to let you guys know that even though that palette is sold out, you can still get a hold of the shadows that I used in this tutorial. So if you're interested in seeing how I came up with this look, then just keep watching. All right, everyone, so as usual, the first thing I'm going in with is the Benefit Stay On Straight Eye Primer. You guys have seen me do this a million times, so I'm going to skip over it pretty quickly. Then I'm using the Benefit Pore Professional Face Primer, and I usually just apply this to my T-zone area because that is where I have the largest pores, and it just makes my foundation sit so much better on my skin. Absolutely love that stuff. And then I'm going in with the Makeup Forever 8 Ultra HD Foundation, and this is in the color Y23. Absolutely love this. I usually always apply it with my beauty sponge just to get a really nice coverage that is luminescent and not so matte, because this one is probably semi-matte is how I would describe the finish. So I want to give it a little more moisture. And then for concealer, as usual, I'm using the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer, and this one is in the color Light Neutral, I believe, or something like that. I'll have everything listed down below for you guys. So I'm going to apply that right underneath the eyes, and then I'm going to blend it out. Again, with a damp beauty sponge. This just makes it to where it doesn't look so cakey, and it gives it more of a sheer finish, because my concealer usually settles in my fine lines. But then I'm going in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit with the Banana shade, and this is just going to really ensure that the concealer doesn't settle in my fine lines underneath my eyes. Absolutely love this, and the yellow and the powder really reflects the light really well. Then I'm going in with this really beautiful neutral brown shade for the transition color for the eye look that we're doing today. And I'm just taking it on a really big and fluffy blending brush. I'm just going back and forth, starting in the outer corner and then working my way in as the product starts to decrease on the brush. So this is going to make sure that we don't get too much product in the inner corner of the eye. That's whenever any type of eye look can start to look really messy, is whenever you get too much of the actual product in the inner eye area. So that is what I'm doing here. And then I'm going in with this really beautiful matte orange shade, and I'm going to put that directly into my crease. And then I soon figured out, which kind of really is a bummer for this look, but I soon figured out that I actually had a little bit of black on this brush from a couple of nights before whenever I did more of a smoky eye. And so if you're doing this look for yourself, you're not going to have as dark of a crease. So I am sorry, you guys, for that. But I am taking that orange shade and a little bit of black, and I am blending it into the outer socket of the eye and making sure not to go up too high with this shade, especially since I do have a little bit of black on my brush. I want to keep it in the crease and really carve out that eye socket. Then afterwards, I'm just going to go back in with that fluffy blending brush and make sure that there are no harsh lines, especially since I did have a darker color on my brush. This is key to make sure that everything looks seamless. Then I'm going to mix these two shades together. One is more of a true gold shade, and then the other one is more of an orangey shade. They both have shimmer in it. I just thought both of them together looked really, really beautiful all over the lid. And I'm just using a natural bristle or natural hair bristled brush and applying this all over the lid, making sure not to go too far into the inner corner. Again, we don't want this to look too messy. And I'm also making sure not to go too far up on the eye socket. We really want to keep this low and just all over the lid without bringing it too high up, because, you know, whenever you bring up glittery shades that are too high, it can just look really messy. Then I'm going back in with a little bit of that matte orange shade on a different brush this time. And I'm applying it directly into the crease just to blend out any harsh lines that we may have created with the lid shade. And then I'm using that big brush again to blend everything out. Next, to highlight underneath my brows, I'm using an Ofra Eye Shadow shade. I don't remember the name of it, but I'll have it listed down below for you guys as usual. I really love this shade though because it has more of a brown tint to it, so it went really well with this look. Next, I am completely blurry in this, I apologize, but I'm just taking that matte orange shade and I am applying it to underneath, sorry guys, I seriously am struggling today, but I'm applying it underneath the lower lashes just to make everything cohesive and blended out. Next, I'm using a black YSL eyeliner. Absolutely love this. I got it in a Sephora Perks several months back, and it's the perfect thing for the waterline. It really stays all day, all night, and you don't have to reapply it over and over again, which is really, really nice. Then I'm just going to take a little bit more of that orange shade since we applied that black, and I'm just buffing everything out so it doesn't look choppy underneath the eyes. Next, I'm taking that Ofra shade again and I'm applying it to the inner corner of the eyes. This is really going to open up the eye area and kind of make everything come together since there's not a lot of product in the inner corner. And then I'm using the NYX eyebrow pencil. Sorry, I forgot for a second what I was doing. Oh my goodness. And I'm just filling in my brows as usual. I don't really do anything special here. I just make sure that everything is filled in. I don't do like a line underneath or on top first. I just go directly in. And then to give my upper lashes a quick coat, I'm using the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara because I want my lashes to be darker since I am going to be going in with falsies a little bit later. Then I'm using the Rimmel Lash Excellerator for my lower lashes, and I absolutely love this because it does have shorter bristles and it really gets those lower lashes. Then for my falsies, I use the Ardell Wispies in the style 120, I believe. Now to contour, I decided to use the NYX Jumbo Stick. This is in the color Universal. I just did a little bit of a pretty harsh contour on my cheeks, and then I did a little bit on my forehead near the temples just to make sure everything is nice and even out. I actually ended up using way too much of the contour shade, so it took me quite a while to blend out. I'm using an e.l.f. Duo Fiber brush to do this. Anytime that you end up using too much product, just always try to use a synthetic brush and it's going to pick up more product for you. At least that's what I found. So that's what I ended up doing. And now I'm using an e.l.f. blush palette. Absolutely love this. I'm probably going to be using it for a couple more videos just because it is so affordable. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, I went heavy-handed on the blush today. Like, it was intense. Look at that blush. So I later decided to go in with a Duo Fiber blending brush just to blend everything out a little bit more because it was looking straight clown on my face, and no one likes that with their blush, right? So that's exactly what I'm doing here. Just taking a big, fat Duo Fiber blending brush and blending the blush